From Variety, celebrating more than 118 years covering the business of entertainment, this is the Award Circuit Podcast. Maya Rudolph loves the song For the Love of Money by the OJs, but she promises it's not because of The Apprentice. She has a much better reason.
Well, I have a better relationship to it because when I was a kid, my mom in her concerts would come out to that song, but instead of saying money, they'd say Minnie. And so I have affection for that song.
Oh, good.
So I didn't let The Apprentice ruin it for me.
I'm Michael Schneider, and on this episode of the award-winning Variety Award Circuit Podcast, we talk to Lute star Maya Rudolph about Taylor Swift, her love of Prince, and how her show's second season has some good ideas about what billionaires should be doing with their money. And we also ask her to share her favorite songs that have to do with money and wealth. It's all next on this edition of the Variety Award Circuit Podcast. Stay close. In Apple TV Plus's Lute, Maya Rudolph plays billionaire Molly Novak, whose dream life of private jets, a sprawling mansion, and a giga yacht falls apart when her husband of 20 years betrays her. She then learns she has a charity foundation run by the no-nonsense Sofia Salinas, played by Michaela J. Rodriguez, who pleads with Molly to stop generating bad press. With her devoted assistant Nicholas, played by Joel Kim Booster, by her side, and with the help of Sophia and team, including mild-mannered accountant Arthur, played by Nat Faxon, and her optimistic, pop-culture-loving cousin Howard, played by Ron Funches, Molly embarks on a journey of self-discovery. And in Season 2, that means using her money to potentially solve Los Angeles' housing crisis.
We, ridiculously wealthy people, are the problem. Starting today, I'm going to give away all my money, all 120 billion.
Molly Wells is here to talk about her new housing initiative, Space for Everyone.
We are on a real mission that is going to help a lot of people. I want you to get everyone into the conference room for a, like a group talk session,
Are you trying to say the word meeting?
Yes, that's it. That's the word. It's Sophia again. She sent me a PDF. What is that?
That's violence. That's what it is.
We need to talk about this broken yogurt machine.
We don't have a yogurt machine.
Okay, then whatever machine I've been putting Greek yogurt into is not operating properly.
Okay. I'm just afraid that all I'm ever going to be is some rich guy's ex-wife.
You've got a better head on your shoulders than people give you credit for.
I recently spoke with Rudolph to talk about Season 2 of Lute and the show's good ideas when it comes to how billionaires might actually help the planet. But we also discuss her Prince cover band, her love of music, and the show's empowering message that it's okay to be a middle-aged Taylor Swift fan. We began, funny enough, by discussing our coffee preferences when I sheepishly admitted that I'm a boring black coffee drinker. Maya backed me up.
I drink black coffee, but I don't get it from Starbucks. I make it at home. I'm a pour-over gal.
Actually, I am too. I became a pour-over gal during the pandemic.
Yeah, it's the way to be.
Yeah.
But you got to get the right beans. Honey, you got to get the right beans. I like Joshua Tree coffee.
Joshua Tree coffee?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I know Joshua Tree coffee.
It's from Joshua Tree.
Like literally? Like there's
I believe so.
Some farmers in Joshua Tree.
Up in that Joshua Tree, yeah. And I like Breakfast Bliss is my blend, and I drink it every single morning. And when I don't, things are different.
This podcast is brought to you by Joshua Tree
Coffee.
Breakfast Bliss. So
it's blissful.
It is. Yeah. Just like Maya Rudolph.
Hey.
Look at that. Look at that segue. So how are you doing? Tis the season of talking about projects and loot and everything else. Okay. You've always got like 5 different things going on at the same time.
I mean, it does feel that way, but right now it's just a couple. You know.
Yeah. Did you? How was your strikes, by the way? That's like
my strikes?
The hot topic of the year, I suppose, because everyone had this weird, unexpected break, and were kind of forced to kind of twiddle their thumbs a little bit.
It was strange. We were almost finished shooting the second season of Lute, and we had 6 days left. And I was told we were ticking off all the boxes. We had turned in all of our scripts and we were okay to shoot because there were no writers present on set. We did all the right things. And then we showed up at a location and there were a couple picketers, which seemed a little inside baseball, but I didn't want to cross any picket lines. So we shut down and no one knew what it was going to be. I didn't expect for it to be almost 7 months. And it felt strange post-pandemic. It just felt a little bit like an old wound.
Yeah.
It was strange.
Yeah, and especially when you're in the middle. So how many episodes had you already shot?
9.5.
Oh, so you're
I had
really
6
close.
days left, yeah.
So what was that like then when you did get things back up and running and you had to kind of go back and get back into the mode?
The nicest part about it was that the majority of our crew came back. I feel like it's a pretty lovely environment and people like coming to work, which doesn't always happen. So that was a lot of the feedback that we got, which was really nice. And people were happy to see each other. But I felt a little rusty. It's like coming back from vacation. You're like, I'm tired.
Yeah.
I don't want to get up.
Exactly.
You know, like, oh, this old thing, had to cut my hair and, get in fighting shape all over again.
Yeah. Remember where things left off.
Yeah.
And there was a party that's like, what if LA solves the housing crisis before we get back up and shooting again?
Yeah, then we'd look like fools.
I mean...
Luckily, the whole Taylor Swift thing kind of looked cool still.
It does,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
And no shame, by the way, to people who are Swifties, right?
No, I live in a household filled with Swifties.
Wait, are you one of them?
I am now. I mean,
Good answer.
I've always admired her and I've always liked her. And this past summer was the summer of the Eras tour, and my life will never be the same again. It was incredible.
Yeah.
Truly incredible.
Up until then, had you had a favorite album, a favorite era?
I like Lover. That's my album, okay?
Yeah.
But I also, that's not fair. See, now you got me started. So when we had to talk about, I was such a mom about it too. When my kids told me about the concert, they said, you go as your favorite era. And I was like, well, how do I dress as Invisible String? Because that's my favorite song. So I wore, those beading necklace things, like the beading string that's kind of clear. I wore that on my wrist. And my kids were like, Mommy, that's not an era. That doesn't count. I was like, it works for me. It's Invisible String. That works for me. I love that song. I actually just can never remember whether it's on Evermore or Folklore because to me, they're kind of along the same lines.
They're definitely sister albums. Yeah.
Yeah. So I sound like a Swiftie, right?
I think absolutely. Absolutely. And
it's such a beautiful song. If I heard it now, I'd just sort of melt into a little puddle.
And I think what's funny about being a Silver Lake / Echo Park Atwater Village dad, which I am, I felt like obviously Evermore and Folklore made it okay for me to also be a Swiftie, and I'm proud to.
Yeah. So I think she's wearing flannel on the cover of
I mean, she's performing with Bon Iver.
Yes.
And now a whole generation of kids know how to pronounce Bon Iver.
You sound very French.
But yeah, so that's a fun aspect of the show as well. Hiding the albums inside jazz album covers. Very, very smart for those who aren't ready to come out as Swifties.
Yes, and it's okay. I mean, I can relate to it. Not to talk about Prince again because that's all I ever do. But now that I have my Prince cover band, people know that I love Prince. But growing up a Prince fan, not everybody understood Prince's music, and so it was something that if people didn't get it, they'd try to make fun of you somehow. Like, oh yeah, he's short. I was like, that's all you got?
Who were you hanging around with?
Just jerks, just left and right jerks. But I just feel like, before he died, especially in the 80s, I mean, Purple Rain definitely made him a household name, but I think if people weren't huge fans, they just didn't really get him. So I can understand being someone who has to... I've never hidden my albums in jazz album covers, but I understand where that comes from.
Yeah. So talking Prince,
Sure.
since you brought up Prince.
I did. I brought it up.
You know,
Let's just get to it.
I'm fine with it. But, I've always been a Prince fan as well. I'm a member of the fan club. I get those daily emails where they want me to buy Prince pajamas.
Oh yes, for the, yes
the
from the
paisley.
estate. Yes.
I don't know how I feel about these incessant estate emails now that
Well,
are
they
all
don't
about.
feel like they're coming from the man himself, right? So they're you can grain of salt it just like anything. You sound like you're approaching it with an adult brain. Like
Yeah.
Prince would not have designed those pajamas.
Yeah.
But I understand who it's for. It's not for me, but I understand it's for somebody else.
Yeah. No, definitely. So yeah, let's talk Loot real quick. So obviously season 2, you go deeper into this whole aspect of, really giving back. But this is a character that it was sort of, at first was drug in, like screaming and what am I doing, like, and not really sure what she's supposed to do. She's grown a lot. But what do you make of your character in season 2?
I think in season 2, Molly Wells is embracing the fact that she does in fact have a foundation and she is in fact the boss, and really rolling up her sleeves and involving herself in it and wanting to be a part of it, and simultaneously trying to turn over a new leaf. So she goes the route of wellness. I'm gonna start over. I'm gonna learn from my mistakes. I'm gonna go straight into wellness and sort of cleanse herself
With Benjamin Bratt.
you just cleanse yourself with a little bit of Benjamin Bratt.
Who doesn't want to cleanse
I
themselves?
mean, haven't
with
we all wanted
Benjamin
to
Bratt?
cleanse ourselves with Benjamin Bratt?
Say that 3 times really fast.
Purify ourselves in the waters of Benjamin Bratt?
Yes. I love, by the way, there is this sort of connection to a lot of these shows that have a lot of the similar producers. There's almost like this NBC Universal universe where...
Yes, there is.
because you see a lot of folks who travel from these different shows, and the fact that he was just in Poker Face and Natasha's a producer.
That was why. I
Yeah.
mean, that was the only reason we got him, was a little like, hey, buddy, will you come and do this? And thankfully, because we really lucked out. Sometimes those are the ways that you can lure people into your web. Is sort of like, I'd never met him. I didn't meet him when he was filming Poker Face, but I met him at the premiere and he was so lovely, but I didn't think I'd ever really meet the guy. But I think when someone can vouch for someone and say he's, these guys are okay, you're going to be safe here. That was obviously very helpful for him. And he just happens to be a great human being. Not everybody would go for that, but that's how we got him.
Yeah. That's good to hear.
So thanks to Natasha.
Yeah, and Law and Order, and that whole weird NBC universe that all kind of comes together. And I'm always fascinated by the connections of, all the SNL folks, but then also, the folks who have come out of those different universes.
Yeah.
The Mike Schur shows.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's kind of got these interesting relationships.
It also really helps, but I knew Mike Schur from SNL, and so when you know people, it's a lot easier to know what you're in for. I mean, I guess the worst case scenario is you show up for something with a complete stranger and they're a nightmare. So, in fact, that you were going to have a lovely time with these old friends. And I mean, for me, I got to work with Mike Schur on The Good Place, and what was nice about it was he already knew me, so he just said, "Hey, I have this for you," and that's already wrapped up. That's taken care of. We've already gotten to know each other.
Yeah.
So the hard part's over.
And that's kind of what's fun about Loot as well, is like it's these familiar faces who you love from different places of the world. I mean, Nat Faxon and Ron Funches and Michaela J. and all these folks, Joel Kim Booster, kind of seeing all of you play together. It looks like it's fun. It looks like you guys are having a blast.
I mean, we selected people that we wanted to make this fun kind of soup with, and so that's the exciting part about being part of the creation of a show, is that you get to pick out the people that you want to have fun with. Because for me especially, it's really important who I'm making comedy with. You want to be able to set each other up and support each other's stuff, so it's nice to know who you're going to be in the room with.
And what's fun about your show too is It's funny. It's got good stories, got good characters. That's first and foremost, I know. But then there's also some interesting just commentary that you guys are almost making on the side. I mean, the fact that you've come up with a plan to, I joked about it earlier, but you came up with a plan to maybe solve the, homeless crisis, the unhoused in Los Angeles.
I think it's incredible.
There's a legit idea.
I think it's an incredible idea. I think it's a wonderful idea. I think if I had the means, like a Molly Wells, I would be a fool not to take this idea and run with it. It's brilliant, and I love that it feels like we have the platform to talk about, wealth inequality and this gap, and that we can actually suggest things that I can't do anything about it, but maybe this guy can.
Yeah.
I think there have been moments since we started the show that have kind of seeped into the conversation a little bit. I know we sort of heard rumblings after the last season that some billionaire was giving away all their money, and we thought, okay, I wonder if they watched Loot,
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So maybe someone will see it this season and think, you know what, that's not a bad idea in whatever city that they live in.
Yeah. How do we make sure that some billionaires watch Loot?
Well, we have to get them an Apple TV and get them a subscription. I'm sure they're not terribly expensive.
Yeah.
They just have to tune in, on a weekly basis. There's always a new episode on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
They just need to get off their asses.
Okay, billionaires get off your asses.
Yeah.
I'm sure Tim Cook maybe knows a few.
I'm sure he's probably aware of the show.
I hope so.
Yeah, it is an Apple show.
I hope so. So
if he's not, that could be really bad.
And then maybe if Bezos' wife wants to stick it to Bezos,
Sure.
nothing better than
The old stick it to Bezos.
The old stick it to Bezos,
Yeah.
which should be.
Are they married? Did I miss a wedding?
So I don't know if they've officially.
I don't either.
The new Lauren Sanchez and Bezos. I don't think they've officially. No, I got some head shakes from the back of the room. I think it's coming close. I think.
Hey, listen, it feels imminent, right?
Yeah.
They're practically married.
Because I think the ex though is the one who's still got half the fortune and is maybe giving some of it away, right?
His wife,
yeah.
his ex-wife,
The ex-wife.
yes.
So you need to meet her.
I know. I've never met her. I don't know a lot of billionaires, contrary to popular belief. Not all comedians know billionaires.
I feel like you probably know more adjacent billionaires than I do, so you're ahead of me.
Maybe,
degree.
but they're hiding it really well.
Yeah.
I mean, no, I have not been invited on anybody's yacht yet, so I'm waiting.
When you work on a show like this, does it sort of seep into your life a little bit more? Do you pay more attention now to?
Definitely. Yeah, pay way more attention. I think that's what's been fun. And it's like all those years working on Saturday Night Live, you're paying more attention to what's going on in the world just because you have a platform to, find something funny about it. But I'm definitely seeing a lot more of the world of wealth through the eyes of this show and trying to incorporate it, as much as I can. I just think it creates, more to talk about, more to play with. It's always, and the things from real life always feel more exciting.
And how is that sort of changing you to some degree in terms of, has this led to you sort of thinking differently about certain things, about policy? Are you sort of
well, to go back to the space for everyone idea, this the idea that there's a few people that might be able to make some sort of difference, or at least put a dent in the idea of just the unhoused crisis in Los Angeles alone, I thought was pretty remarkable. I feel like I'm always trying to think of things in that way, especially because people know who I am. And I think, every once in a while you get to play one of those, games for charity, and they say, "What's your charity?" I was like, "Where do I begin?" There's a lot to there's a lot that needs. But I'm always thinking of there's things that I wish things would be better. I wish that there were something I could do about mental health equality in our country. And I don't really know how to tackle that, but that would be my Molly Wells moment is making that more fair and equitable.
Well, you know going back to Molly Wells and just this character in general, this is one of the things that you do best are these characters that sometimes their heart is in the right place. They mean well, but they are just so sort of, I don't even want to say clueless, but they're just in their own world. They're maybe not quite aware of the world around them.
Out of touch.
A little out of touch.
Yeah.
What do you enjoy about playing those kind of characters?
Oh, that's the most fun. I mean, that's where all the comedy lives, and it's such a fun sort of like semi-arch kind of character to languish in and roll around in.
Yeah.
It's just where the high stakes come from.
Yeah, and it looks like you really enjoy sometimes just some of those like really out there lines, some of the quotes that would come out of Molly's mouth and some of the other characters you've done over the years who've been similar that you
For sure.
like it's probably a little like because it's not something you could ever say in day-to-day
No,
life.
I think there's also that element of this is so absolutely ridiculous. I would never say this.
Yeah.
And that is what makes it funny. Yeah.
And that's what's, that line that as an actor, I'm sure you play with all the time is how do I make sure that this character is still likable, even though they're terrible?
Yeah, I think that's important. I also, over the years, have thought about creating characters based on things that I like in characters. I am not attracted to the mean character, the mean-spirited comedy stuff. I feel like there's a dose of humanity and a likable quality. And I just know that over the years, there are so many characters I've fallen in love with. And I feel like that's an exciting thing to be able to create a character like that, someone that you want to be friends with, I think is really the bottom line. And so I think that's really the only way. It's storytelling. And so I think it's really the only way to make yourself someone to connect to as a character, which is to be human.
Well, because you are such a musical person, and I love music, I love talking about music. And so I don't know if this request got to you or not, but I'd asked your folks to see if you had your favorite, like songs about wealth, about money, that maybe are among your favorites.
That's a fun game.
Do you have like a countdown of your favorites?
I mean, listen, I don't think about money songs all the time, but I definitely was like, ooh, this is a fun homework assignment.
Little challenge, okay.
I mean, off the top of my head, the Gwen Stefani "Rich Girl" song was like the first one. I was like, okay, I got to make note of that. That came up right away. Who sang "For the Love of Money"? Was it OJ's? Is it "Money, Money, Money, Money"? Who sang that one?
Was that OJ's? I can't remember. When you say OJ now, because
well, sure.
the news of the
no,
week.
OJ's, OJAY's, plural.
Yes.
I love that song.
Yeah. Although,
let's hear it.
I will tell you this. Remember that they used that as the theme song for The Apprentice?
Yes.
With the
with that guy? Well, I have a better relationship to it because when I was a kid, my mom in her concerts would come out to that song, but instead of saying money, they'd say Minnie. And so I have affection for that song.
Oh, good.
So I didn't let The Apprentice ruin it for me.
Yeah, that's much better. That's really nice. Mini.
Isn't that cute?
That is very cute.
I love it.
And that is so much better than my memory now of that song.
Yeah, you're going to remember that, and you're going to enjoy. You're just going to put a smile on your face.
Yeah. As opposed to the death of democracy.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's see what else. I mean, money is ABBA, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mo money, mo problems.
Yeah, of
sure.
course.
I mean, we can scoop past that too.
Yeah.
Boy, you really can't talk about anything anymore, can you? It's kind of crazy.
No, Mo Money, Mo Problems is the best.
Rich Girl is a lovely song.
Yeah. R.I.P. Hall & Oates, by the way.
Yeah, they drifted apart, didn't they?
Yeah.
It was not a drift. It was more of a rift, am I right? They rifted apart. Yikes.
Hope you saw them in concert because that ain't ever happening again.
I never got to. But boy, what incredible music.
Yeah.
No, I did not.
Too late now. Yeah. So, all right. Well, those are some good choices. Yeah. I think of those, probably, I gotta say, Mo Money, Mo Problems is probably my favorite. I mean, that is just the perfect
great
song.
Yeah. It's a great song.
The perfect sample. I mean, it's just.
I didn't know this song, like when Cream came out, the Wu-Tang song, I didn't know He was just like, cash rules everything around me. And I was like, okay, he's talking about cash. But I didn't realize that's what cream stood for. So. It's different.
Yeah.
But yeah, cream, I guess, is another one.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. That's a good mix of ones.
Thanks.
So,
Thank you.
so Maya, what are you excited about? What's next? What's
next?
yeah.
We got more loot coming. We've got more people getting to see the wacky, wonderful world of loot.
Yeah, go check out the Apple TV Plus.
All that good stuff.
Yeah, still rolling out episodes.
Yes, still rolling out episodes. So if
from
Tim
season
Cook
2.
wants to tell his friends to watch it, it's on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
And my band Princess is playing part of this Netflix is a Joke.
Yeah,
festival.
I saw that. So that's really cool. Now, so like, and this is legit. This is
It is. It's not a joke.
You hate when
I don't
people
know
ask
why
you
they
that.
call it that.
I know you hate when people they put this in a comedy show. You're like, no, I should be at Coachella, bitches.
It happens a lot. Yes, bitches. It happens a lot. I mean, I think that people understand now that there is a lightness to Princess, and that we enjoy and we enjoy Princess music, and we have a lot of fun, but we also take the music very seriously. And I think we've played for so long now that people know that. Took a while for that word of mouth to go around, but yes. We take it quite seriously. And my relationship to playing Prince's music changed significantly after he died. So what was really an early project of just playing his early dirtier stuff that he wasn't playing live anymore ended up becoming a bit more of a celebratory experience. So a lot of people come to hear his music live, and we're sort of doing it all together.
Yeah, yeah. No, and this is such a cliche question to ask you, but I don't think I know what your favorite Prince song or album is.
Well, I don't have a favorite. That would be very
It's like your
unkind.
children.
Yes, they're all my children. But Princess specifically really does a very specific era of Prince music. It's very early, where it's still a little bit punky, a little bit.
So like early 80s,
Yes.
pre 1999 even
Yes, but 1999 is definitely in there, and we did some Dirty Mind album era stuff. We try to change up the set as much as possible, but there's always ones that like we've closed every show with Darling Nikki since we began, and we've been playing for almost 13 years.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. And we always try to do we always do what Let's Go Crazy, and every year every time we do it, I'm like, we're not a karaoke band, we're not going to do it again, but it's the best song.
It gets the audience.
It does, and it also gets you realize, oh, we're here now.
Yeah.
And I think that if it wasn't executed as well as it is, you'd go like, all right,
Yeah.
this is cute, but it sounds really good. As someone who loves every single sound, tone, blip, pop of the original recordings, I really work hard to scratch all those itches when we play those songs, because I want to hear them. So I really do feel like they have those in them, and I like that.
Yeah, yeah. I guess the better question would have been which song do you enjoy performing the most? Which probably is a tough one too, but
Well, it changes all the time.
yeah.
We've been doing DMSR for a while, which is from the 1999 album, and but we always try to add stuff to it. So it's a mixture of live versions, rehearsal versions that we've luckily, gathered over the years of being Prince fans. You always had bootlegs before everything was released on YouTube. And then we sort of do a mashup. There is a song we do that we started to incorporate that's been a big staple, which we incorporate a lot of childhood sitcom themes in, and it's sort of changed over the years, and now there's a lot of viral video songs in it, and that's been a lot of fun.
That's good.
Yeah. That's all I'm going to say until you come to the show.
I need to come to, so next show is at Netflix
It's
as a
Cinco
Joke.
de Mayo. It's May 5th, otherwise known as Cinco de Mayo at the Palladium, which is very exciting because I got to go to the Palladium when I was in high school. So getting to play at the Palladium is very cool.
Be on the stage.
Yeah, very cool.
That's awesome. So that's literally pretty much what's next.
That is what's next. That is what I'm rehearsing for, correct?
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Maya Rudolph, a pleasure.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, great talking to you. Congrats on Loot Season 2.
Thank you.
More to come.
Have fun in Atwater and Echo Park. You have Little Fish. You're so lucky.
Yeah.
You have the best restaurants.
Oh,
Little
it's-
Fish might be the greatest restaurant of the universe.
There's some great restaurants over there.
No,
By the
you're
way,
very lucky.
Holy Basil, if you want your Thai in Atwater
I've heard
Village,
it's
is fantastic.
Yeah,
So
I know of it all. I just don't get to frequent it as much as you do because I'm not a Silver Lake, Echo Park, Atwater Village dad.
I know. It's a shame. I am embarrassed of myself for admitting
I would
that.
not be. I would wear that flag with pride.
Oh, I will, Maya Rudolph. I will. That's Maya Rudolph, the star of Loot, now in Season 2 on Apple TV+. And that's it for this edition of Variety's Award Circuit Podcast. Aaron Greenewald edited this episode, and Michael Schneider is the producer. Be sure to subscribe to the Award Circuit Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you download podcasts. Also, head on over to Variety.com and click on the Award Circuit tab to find the latest awards predictions and key races, as well as your daily fix of news, analysis, and reviews. For Jazz Tanke, Emily Longaretta, and Clayton Davis, I'm Michael Schneider, and we'll see you on the circuit.